Hey guys, welcome to FM Driver School, and new changes are coming into effect if you're a driver or if you're learning to drive. The highway codes are changing. So let's go through a few articles. I'll try to be a bit quick about it and see exactly what the changes are and what exactly the fines are going to be if you were to break it. So here we're at the Sun's newspaper. There are major changes happening in the highway code. Yeah, the new rules are split into three main categories and ultimately aim to improve the safety for pedestrians, cyclists, and horse riders. So that's the reason why they're changing it. The most significant rule in the highway code sets out the hierarchy of road users, and the new rules will mean drivers need to give way to pedestrians at junctions, while cyclists must give way to people using a shared-use cycle track. Changes to the highway code are due to come into effect on the 29th of January 2022. So let's go through in order. New rules for pedestrians. Drivers will also have to give way to pedestrians when they are crossing on the road. Motorists will no longer have priority at junctions and will have to let pedestrians cross the road if they are waiting. Wow, okay, I didn't know that as well. The new highway code says at a junction you should give way to pedestrians crossing or waiting to cross a road into which or from which you are turning. When stuck in traffic on a slow moving road, pedestrians and cyclists will be able to cross in front of drivers. So that's a new thing that I would have to now start teaching my students out there. So motorcycles no longer have priorities at junctions and will have to let pedestrians cross the road. Okay, so rules for pedestrians already on the road, such as those using zebra crossing or crossing at junctions and crossing signal control pelican crossing, will stay the same. That obviously goes without saying. So the new rule is if pedestrians are about to cross and you're slow moving traffic or stuck or stop, you have to let them go. I'm just trying to figure out this part. Motorists will no longer have priority at junctions and will have to let pedestrians cross the road if they're if they're waiting, that is. Okay, so let's go to the next part. What is a highway code hierarchy? The hierarchy of road users is a concept that ranks road users in order of those who are most at risk in the event of an accident. So quite an interesting sentence here to understand and take in. The hierarchy of road users, let me just repeat, is a concept that ranks road users in the order of those who are most at risk in the event of an accident. So if you're learning to drive, it's a good way of thinking about it. It's no surprise that pedestrians are top of the group, as they can cause the least harm on the road but are highly vulnerable in an accident. According to the highway code hierarchy, those hierarchy in the list must be vigilant of all those lower in the list. Drivers of any vehicles deemed to be more dangerous, such as buses and HGVs, must now be extra careful on the roads. The highway code hierarchy is as follows: pedestrians, cyclists, horse riders, motorcyclists, cars, taxis, vans and minibuses, and large passenger vehicles or courier vehicles like buses or HGVs. And look at this new change as well in the highway code. So pavement parking in England could be banned. Drivers could be banned from parking on the pavement this year as part of a huge update to road rules. The government is considering making it illegal for motorists to block pedestrians' routes with their cars. The proposal is designed to make it easier for disabled people to get around. One of the options on the table is a legislative change that would introduce a London Sky pavement parking ban across England. Pavement parking is banned on almost all of the capital street, and drivers face a fine of up to £70 for breaking the rules. The move could place a blanket ban on parking on the pavement across the country, but there would be an exemption set out with road signs. So when you pass your test, or if you've got a car, there are certain places where you do park on top of the pavement. There's no signs. It's allowed. But now they're saying, of course, that they're going to introduce, possibly throughout the whole country, that you're not going to be able to park like this, and there's a potential £70 fine. Okay, it would be the most significant change to English parking laws in several decades. Let's go to the next. Here's another rule that's going to affect drivers out there. And if you're learning to drive, make sure you learn this as well, this rule. Drivers warned they risk £70 fine for bad turns. Drivers could face up to a £70 fine if they are seen taking a so-called bad turn on the road. It could be that maybe you're still a new driver and then you made a mistake, but unfortunately, you could run the risk of getting a £70 fine. It comes after it was announced that local council will soon be given the power to hand out fines for moving traffic offences. So what's a bad turn? Let's just see. It could be turning in the wrong place, such as a yellow box junction, doing more than one 3-point turn. Oh, great. So for example, like I said, it could be that you're a fairly new driver and you can't manage the car 3-point turn. So they're now saying that they could actually potentially fine you. Comment below, let me know what you guys think. Is that fair? Or turning the road when there's fast moving traffic. Drivers should only turn in the road if it's absolutely necessary. And also, as you know, in your driving lessons, on your driving test, you're no longer taught the 3-point turn or the U-turn. Maybe your instructor might teach it to you, but you're no longer examined on it. So it's that's why you're not actually taught it these days. So imagine now you do a U-turn and you do it more than 3 times, like a 3-point turn, and you end up getting a fine, unfortunately. Anyway, let's carry on. If you get caught doing a bad turn, you run the risk of getting a £70 fine. So that's one of the new rules changing and coming to effect this year, 2022. Let's see what this is saying. The new highway code hierarchy explained. The new rule coming into effect will mean drivers won't have as much power on the road when it comes to cyclists. New rules coming into effect this month will mean drivers need to be more aware than ever on the of the cyclists on the road. This lays out that cars turning left or right on the road will have to give way to any cyclists that are behind them and planning to go straight. Drivers must always leave a 1.5 meter space between their vehicles and a cyclist when overtaking at a speed up to 30 miles an hour. Let's just go through the diagram where we can understand the rules. Cyclists must ride in the middle of the road instead of the left hand side. Wow, I did not know that. So previously, obviously, here's one of the diagrams. Cyclists will be driving here on the left, and now cyclists are told right in the center of the road. So that's one of the biggest changes that's coming into effect right now. All vehicles have priority on junctions. So now, new rule is give way to the pedestrians at junctions. So this will definitely affect your driving tests, your driving lessons, as this is one of the new rules coming into effect in the next few weeks. So what about the other changes that are going to come into effect this year? So as you know, using your phone, you get up to a £200 fine if you're using it for texting or taking calls. Now drivers can still use your hands-free device when driving, such as a sat-nav. But if you're using your phone to take pictures or videos or scroll through your playlist, you're now going to be fined additional £200. So again, that's a new rule that's going to be coming into effect this year. Here's an extremely interesting rule that's going to come into effect in the Highway Code 2022. The waiting and parking chapter of the Highway Code has been updated to describe the Dutch reach. Okay, this suggests you should open your door using your hand on the opposite side to the door you're opening. So you would use your left hand to open a door on the right side. This naturally makes you turn your head to look over your shoulder. So if I get that clear, if you're on the driver's side, so the side that you're driving, obviously, that's your right side, you're going to use your left hand to open it, and as you open it, you're going to have to look over your shoulder. So that's quite interesting. That's a new rule that's going to be coming into effect this year. So the other big change in the highway code for drivers out there is regarding roundabouts. So the new rule comes in on 29th of January 2022 and rejigs the hierarchy of the road based upon who is most at risk. Okay, Rule 186 says that those driving cars and other motorized vehicles will have to give priority to cyclists at roundabouts. So that's the biggest change that's going to happen this year, 2022. It reads you should give priority to cyclists on the road. They will be traveling more slowly than motorized traffic. Give them plenty of room and do not attempt to overtake them within their lanes. Allow them to move across your path as they travel around the roundabout. Cyclists horse riders and horse-drawn vehicles may stay in the left-hand lane when they intend to continue across or around the roundabout and should signal right to show you they are not leaving the roundabout. Drivers should take extra care when entering a roundabout to ensure they do not cut across cyclists, horse riders, or horse-drawn vehicles in the left-hand lane who are continuing around the roundabout. So if I understand correctly, it's saying that obviously first of all we have to give cyclists and horse riders and horse-drawn vehicles, not that we see much of the horse-drawn vehicles out there, we have to give them first priority. Secondly, it's saying that they can actually go to around the roundabout from the left-hand side. So obviously as a learner driver or someone practicing to drive, you'll naturally assume if they're on the left side they're going to go left or straight. But now guys, be extra cautious that they can actually go around the roundabout. So that's one of the biggest changes to the rules this year. So that's roughly what's going to happen this year, 2022. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe with FM Driving School. Any more updates, I'll keep you guys posted. So go to our channel, go to our site, fmdrivingschool.co.uk.